So in this session, I'm going to, this is the agenda for today's demo session. So I'm going to explain like what are, what are the different software testing careers as of now, and to whom this training is suitable to, right? And, like what are the career prospects as well as, course structure of my training. All right. So, so to start with, let me explain like who are the ideal participants or to whom this, software testing training is suitable. So any graduates or postgraduates who are having a professional qualification like BTech or MCA or MSc Computers or BCA, and who are in job search, active job search, right? And like any passionate and qualified non-IT graduates who want to pursue career in software testing, right? So and like housewives like who want to start or restart their career after a break, right? And anyone who want to switch from non-IT to IT, right? So this is the best and most promising career that I can say for someone who want to switch their career from non-IT to IT, provided like they are passionate and about their career growth, right? And software testing as a career, so I'm going to discuss this soon. And like what are the different five major software testing careers, right? So these are the different software testing careers as I listed here. The first and foremost is like manual testing or functional testing. So functional testing, like functional testing, let me explain what is functional testing in brief, like, right? For like those who are coming from non-IT background, if anyone is from non-IT, so let me explain with a simple example. Say for example, hold on. So let me give explain this what is functional testing with a Gmail example that you know very well, right? So say for example you type gmail.com, right? So like uh, you have to get this page where it prompts for email or phone, right? And suppose like you here like you have to enter your email ID or phone number, right? So let me enter some email ID. So you can enter full email ID like this, right? You can enter this full email ID like this, right? And once you enter the email ID, it should prompt for the password, right? So if you and also like even without this gmail.com also this should work, even if you enter just your email ID without the domain name, this should also work, right? And it should prompt for a password, right? So if you enter a correct password, right, it has to allow you to log in, right? It should allow you to log in, or else it should display a an error message like this saying that wrong password. So if you enter a valid password, so it should allow you to log in and show your inbox, right? So we are testing the functionality of this application over here, right? So this is functional testing, briefly about functional testing, right? And if you are doing functional testing without any tool, means if you are doing manually, so that is called as manual testing. And if you are doing the that functional testing with the help of a tool like Selenium or HPQFT or UFT or QTP or SIL test or Cucumber, any of these tools, then we call that as automation testing. And the next important, the next one more career software, major software testing career is performance testing, right? So performance testing, these are the tools that are used in performance testing, like loader, jmeter and neoload are the major tools in the market, and performance engineering as well, right? This is another major software testing career that you can choose, right, in software testing. So apart from these, like you have mobile testing, right? As like everyone like using a lot of hundreds of apps nowadays. So we have this mobile testing nowadays gaining prominence, right? And these are the tools for like test complete and APM are the major tools for mobile testing and security testing. And apart from that, you have one more thing coming up, in software testing called as IoT testing, right? So
Right.
I like I will give a short demo about IoT devices. and how they are penetrating into our lives, right? So and this is and the software testing market size is $40 billion in 2019 itself. So right, it would have grown by like for 50 billion or $60 billion now into the 2021, because nowadays like most of as we are working from home and online applications are mostly used than ever before, right, because of the lockdown. So the testing market has grown up, and is increasing rapidly. The testing market is increasing rapidly. So it might have gone to like $50 billion or $60 billion now in 2021. And and as per some estimate, like there is the market size, the software market growth is over 6% CAGR from 2020 to 2026, right? So CAGR stands for compounded annual growth rate. So which is 6%. Software testing market is growing at a pace of 6% CAGR from 2020 to 2026, right? And like the last, like I'm going to explain the course structure. So let me explain. Let me move on to the next slide. So what are the skills required for a software testing engineer, right? So like you need to have some basic knowledge of database, right? And you need to be good in SQL queries, basic SQL queries, and basic knowledge of database concepts, and knowledge is in some test management tools, and knowledge or experience in some defect tracking tools like Zira, right, or QC quality center, and basic knowledge in Linux. This would be added advantage, not mandatory though. However, like having Linux basic knowledge would be added advantage. And you can choose either of these, like manual testing or software automation testing, or performance testing, or mobile testing, right? So these are the technical skills required for a software testing engineer. All right. Apart from that, you have security testing, penetration testing, a lot more, right? However, like I listed only the major software testing careers. Now, the next question, like most of you, like who are in job search, or like who are freshers, like are who are in job search, will have is like, is soft programming knowledge mandatory for software testing engineers, right? So is coding skills or programming knowledge required for software testing use, right? So that is a query that many people ask, right? Those who are who are looking for career options. So fortunately, like coding skills not mandatory to learn software testing, particularly manual and performance, right? For manual testing and performance testing, coding skills are not mandatory. Coding skills are mandatory. Java programming or Python programming is required for only automation testing, right? However, like even automation test for testing for automation testing also, nowadays like we are having some tools which doesn't require so which doesn't require any programming skills, right? So let me show you out here. See, there are some automation tools where no coding skills are required, right, to get started, right? So this is the
Yeah.
like this is the advantage of software testing career, right? And however, like if you are good in programming or if you have coding skills, you will get very high packages, and you will have a prospectful career, right? That is for sure. That will be added advantage if you have any programming skills. That would be added advantage, right? And and basic programming skills enough for performance testing is like which I will be covering in the training, right? And prior knowledge. So okay, so if some few of you may be already trained in some course, right? So let me explain. This is the beauty of performance testing, right? So if you are having any prior knowledge, or uh, if you have undergone any training, right, previously, right, like whether it is C or C++ or Java or .NET or SQL, right, or Python, it would be added advantage to you, or ETL testing, even ETL testing. So if you have, if someone is trained already in ETL testing, very few companies will be having ETL testing jobs, right? So that doesn't go waste. Like that will be added advantage to performance testing engineers. So that is the biggest advantage of performance testing career. So no matter whether you are any trained in any of these skill set, that will be that will be added advantage to your career, right? And having said that, so let me explain the career prospects for software testing engineers, right? So as I mentioned just now, software testing market size is $40 billion in 2019 itself. And because of this, like pandemic, like more and more, online applications, online websites or apps are being used nowadays. So software testing market is growing rapidly, right? Exponentially, I can say. Software testing market is growing exponentially, right? And like as per an estimate in 2020 itself, it was estimated that the software testing market will grow over 6% CAGR. Right now the revised figures may be like 7 or 8%, right? And like in fact, because of this lockdown and pandemic, software testing industry is facing resource crunch, right? So software testing organizations or companies are are unable to find enough number of candidates for when they have for the openings that they have, right? So whole software testing industry is facing resource crunch because of lockdown. Many people stayed back at hometowns, and some few of them may not be having a laptop and internet available, right? So like because of this, there is huge resource crunch, and there are number of openings, job openings, like we are waiting for software testing, right? And the next question that I frequently face is like course duration, right? And for manual testing, the course duration would be 40 plus hours, and performance testing it would be 150 plus hours, wherein I will be covering PT basics, PT basics, and load runner and JMeter, right? So I'll be covering this and monitoring and analysis, right? And for DevOps, we are also offering DevOps training, which is for which is 100 plus hours duration, and Python, like, which is 50 plus hours training. And this is all about the course duration of the courses that we are offering as of now. Yeah, so I'll take a pass here. So if you have any queries, we can discuss. Guys, Pavan, or anyone, Arun?
Is it?
That?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
In this testing, which one is more demandable, sir? Is it
Okay, which
manual
one
or
is having more
performance?
demand out of manual and performance, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, right. Okay. So, relatively, performance test engineers have more demand, right? Because like manual test engineers used to have a lot of demand previously. However, like because of automation, like manual testing is more. More and more companies are moving to automation, right? However, still, like there are a lot of openings for manual testing engineers also, right? So when I say, when if you want to compare, like if you want relatively, performance test engineers have more demand as of now, right? And like compared, when I'm comparing this manual and performance, I'm saying, right? Of course, like automation testing has more demand than both of these. However, there is a lot of competition also for automation testing, right? So when we compare like manual and performance, like performance testing has more demand nowadays, right?
Thank you.
Of course, like still there are few companies like who are doing manual testing, right? Right, where functional testing is being done manually, right? With QA resource effort, manual effort. So when if you come to, if you want to answer, like which one is having more demand out of this manual and performance, like performance testing, I can say that performance testing have more openings. If you have both manual and performance testing in your skill set, right, that would be more helpful. Like because performance testing, you may not be having performance testing down the year, right? At that time, like like companies want to utilize you for manual testing. So if you have like both manual testing and performance, you will be in very good demand, right? You can try as a full stack QA engineer, right? And if you have manual, automation, and performance, that is correct, perfectly called as full stack QA, of course. However, like if you have both manual and performance testing in your skill set, you will be having more demand, right? So, and few general queries that I ask is, that I face is like, is manual testing knowledge mandatory for performance testing units, right? No, manual testing knowledge is not mandatory. However, if you have manual testing experience, that would be added advantage, right? As I said, like, nowadays, like even in development, companies are expecting full stack development engineers, right? So in the same way, organizations are having offering more packages, high packages for full stack QA engineers, right? If you are not limited to only one particular skill set, and if you have like related skill sets, right? So more than one related skill set, you will be having high demand, right? Of course. And however, like manual testing knowledge is not mandatory to learn performance testing, that I want to clear. Right. And for performance testing, is it mandatory to learn both load runner and JMeter? So this is another query that that is one of the FAQs, right? That I hear from like potential students, or those who are in job search. Yes, load runner and JMeter are mandatory. I don't say mandatory. However, like if you create a profile for yourself, if you create a performance testing profile in Naukri, so you will get to know, like mostly companies are expecting one licensed tool and one open source tool like JMeter. So JMeter has become mandatory, that I can say for sure, right? So 90% of the companies are asking for, looking for experience in open source tools like JMeter, right? For the sake of cost cutting, right? And like JMeter has become mandatory nowadays. However, like like still there are many companies like who look for one license experience on one license tool and one open source tool, right? So Loader is a license tool, and Neoload is another license tool which is having major market share after Loader. After Loader, Neoload is another major tool, right? So these are the general queries that I will be hearing. So any other queries, guys, if you have?
Nothing.
All right. So let me move on to the next slide. So what are the expected salaries in service-based companies and product-based companies? I want to explain this in software testing, right? So what does software testing career offer, right? In a service-based company and product-based company, right? So first of all, I hope like like what is a service-based company and product-based company, right? So those who offer like if not, like let me explain briefly. So service-based companies are the one who like who offer some development services or testing services to some other company, right? To some other organization. Whereas, right? So for instance, like TCS, CTS, right? And Infosys, Infi, or Tech Mahindra. So these are all service-based companies, right? And coming to product-based companies, right? So to list a few, we have JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, right? Microsoft, Facebook, SAP Labs, right? So these are all product-based companies. Salesforce, ServiceNow, right? These are all major product-based companies, right? So,
Yeah.
and what are the expected salaries for software engineers in test engineers in service-based and product-based companies, right? So let me explain that. What are the average and what are the max packages, right? So, so coming to service-based companies, right? Right. So you can expect some, you can expect a package of somewhere between number of years experience into 2 lakhs. That is the average package, guys. Okay. So this is the average package that you can expect for a software test engineer can expect in a service-based company, particularly performance test engineer, right? This is an average package, right? And the max package that you can expect is, let me specify that here. So this is the average package, right? And the max package that you can expect is, as far as I know, right, number of years experience into as far as I know, it will be somewhere around 4 to 5 lakhs. Okay. So I recently came to know that Salesforce offered like 55 lakhs package for 10 years experience, right? So previously I used to think like this is the this is the saturation point, or this is the max package that someone can expect for a performance test engineer, right? Can expect max package. However, like I recently came to know that Salesforce has offered like 55 lakhs package for 10 years experience time, right? So if that is the, even if that is the extreme case, like we can consider like this is the max package that most of that you can expect in a from a product based, right? Hold on, sorry. So this is for a product based company. From a product based company, guys. So this is something that you can expect in a product based company, right? And from service based companies, like this is the average package, right? There may be some guys like who are getting number of years into 1 lakh, and few may be getting number of years into 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. However, the average package in service based companies like number of years into 3 lakhs. And like in a product based company, like average package is like somewhere around so I can say like minimum package is number of years into 2 lakhs. Average package is like number of years into 3 lakhs. You can expect number of years into 3 lakhs in a product based company, right? And the max package can go up to like 4 to 5 number of years experience into 4 to 5 lakhs. All right. So these are the like these are the expected packages like in both service and product based companies, right? So and let me so do you have any queries, guys? If not, I'll move to the next slide.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me move on to the next slide then. Right. So like let me briefly explain what are the differences between like manual testing and automation and performance testing. Right. So as I explained just now, manual testing means like that is functional testing done manually by QA test engineers. That is also called as manual testing. Functional testing is the correct terminology, right? However, like if functional testing is done manually, that is called as manual testing. And automation, the same functional testing, if it is done with the help of some tools like automation tools like Selenium, etc., right? That is called as automation testing. And coming to the performance testing, it is a tool driven testing, right? So basically like we need not the beauty of low performance testing is we need not write any code from scratch, right? Whose script will be generated by tools like loadrunner or jmeter with their record and playback feature, right? You got it right. So tool will script will be generated by tools like loadrunner, jmeter or neoload, which are having record and playback feature. You need not write any code from scratch, right? However, coming to packages like performance test engineers are equally paid or more paid more than automation test engineers or manual test engineers, right? Manual test engineers, I can say, I mean, if you consider average packages, I can say like manual test engineers are paid little bit less than automation, right? However, like both automation test engineers and performance test engineers are more or less equally paid with even developers, right? So even though like performance test engineers need not write any code from scratch, right? They are paid more or less equal to developers, right? In some organizations, performance test engineers are paid more than developers, all right? Because it's the performance testing team who has to decide. It's performance testing, right? So performance test engineers are paid more more than developers, right? Because there is a reason why performance test engineers are paid more than developers, because it's performance test engineers who are having development knowledge, right? Basic programming knowledge, like they will be paid more than developers, core developers, because it's performance test engineer who has to decide whether a build should go into some code or newly developed code, or some build should go into production or not, right? So that's the reason like the performance test engineers are paid more than developers in some cases, right? And I covered three important or major software testing careers like manual testing, automation and performance. All right. So this is my favorite quote about testing. All right. And let me give a brief introduction about the trainers that we have. So we basically right now like we are having four different trainers. As I said, like myself, I will give training on performance testing. So apart from that, like these are the different courses that we are covering as of now. Right? These are the courses that we are offering currently. Uh, you know, the first one is functional testing or manual testing. and performance testing with load runner, which is which comes around 90 plus hours, and performance testing with JMeter, like which comes around 80 plus hours, right? And performance engineering, which is for 60 hours, and Splunk and Dynatrace, APM, and DevOps and Python. These are the different courses that we are offering. And like coming to coming to the trainer introduction, so almost all the trainers are having like 10 plus, more than 10 plus years experience. So I myself is an MCA graduate, and I have like 15 plus years experience in IT, out of which like I have 13 plus years experience in performance testing and engineering. And this is briefly about my experience, right? Right now I'm working for a product based company, right? And and these are the salient features of my training, guys, right? So these are the salient features of my training. Let me explain one by one. So a typical session time would be 1.5 hour. On an average it would be not less than 1.5 hour, out of which like for the first 5 minutes we are having some aptitude test or table topics, right? So this is just to this is also to accommodate the late joiners, right? So to accommodate the late joiners, like we have planned this aptitude test or table topics for the first 5 minutes, and daily assessment for 5 to 10 minutes, right? And theory or scripting sessions for the next 50 to 60 minutes a day, and Q&A session or doubt clarification for the last 10 minutes, right? So this would be a typical breakup of 1.5 hour session approximately, right? And scripting is simplified, and I made it very easy to understand. And most of the scripts that I am covering are from different companies interviews, right? And scripting hands-on mandatory for every participant, so everyone has to work on the script, and they have to share for review, right? And if someone is interested in certification, like you can attempt like loaderner and JMeter certification. JMeter certification is mandatory, and it is also free. Like we can do JMeter Intro and Pro certification from Blazemeter University. So that is mandatory for everyone. However, if someone is willing to pay some certification fee, and they can attend ISTQB certification for performance testing, right? And I will be covering mostly like web three protocols like web services and true client in Loaderner, and hands-on training on scripting with real-time examples, and 15 plus scripts given in scripting tests of various companies interviews I'll be covering, right? In this 90 hours of Loaderner training and 80 plus hours of JMeter training. And I'll cover like 5 sample applications which you can install on your setup and install on your machine, right? And you can practice whenever you at your convenient time, right? And 2 to 4 like real-time applications for scripting and text executions. And one more thing that we started last year is like all session recordings will be provided to the students, right? So that like you can refer to them in anytime, or else like if you miss some session also, like you can refer to them. Like we are providing all the session recordings, right? So these apart from this, like I'll be covering table topics, presentations by participants to enhance their soft skills. And we are leveraging couple of digital platforms for training, assignments and assessments. So if you want to me to name a few, I'm using Google Classroom for assignments, and online let me show you. So I'm using Google Classroom for for giving assignments. I'll be having like one classroom for each batch like this, wherein I will be giving all assignments like this, right? So I'll add all the students to this batch, and I'll be giving assignments over here, right? I'll see these are the assignments provided under given for load runner, right, till now as of date, right? And apart from this, like I'm leveraging other couple of other digital platforms. Like I'm giving online assessments, like you will be having weekly assessment or monthly assessment. And once you attempt that, I'll get a I'll get a mail like this with your test results. Let me open that. So once you attempt online assessment, I'll get a mail like this, right? So like I'll get a I'll get a mail like this, like which kind, like how many questions are attempted, how many are answered correct and how many answered wrong. So that this helps me to identify, like this helps them to identify where to focus more, and get a real assessment of themselves. So this is our online test result that I know that I am conducting. All right. So this is another salient feature, unique feature of my training, like weekly or monthly assessment. So apart from this, like once the training is completed, right, so I'll be preparing the resume, a proper resume, right, and after which, like, I'll be conducting 5 mock interviews in total. The first mock interview I will take myself, right? This is to assess their strengths and areas of improvement, and to not miss any real interview opportunity. So the first mock interview I'll take myself, and and 2 mock interviews I'll I am organizing, or I'm scheduling with the help of my friends who are working in service-based companies, and 2 mock interviews by friends like who are working for product-based companies, right? So in fact, like, I'm paying them, like, per interview I'm paying 500 to 1,000 per interview, right? So that they will also do it seriously, right? And earn while you learn. This is another salient unique feature of my training, which I will explain, like, once you join training, I will be explaining this, right? So, and these are the courses that we are offering currently, as I just now explained. And coming to this is manual testing. So we have a separate trainer for manual testing. His name is Suresh. We are planning to start manual testing batch from from Monday, from this Monday, like, which is 29th March. So from 29th March, we are planning manual testing for course, right? And performance testing, it's already running. We completed load runner, by load runner training was completed by 90 hours. Let me quickly show you that. Yeah, so you can see here, like, 100 hours training is completed till now, out of which, like, load runner took some 90 plus hours. I maintain a tracker for each batch, like, wherein I will be capturing, like, what concepts are covered on each day, what is the session time, how much time, how long it went, right? You can see here, generally it will be mostly 1.5 hour. So sometimes it get extended to max 2 hours. So like, for completing load runner, it took around like 90 hours, 90 plus hours, right? And we started JMeter recently. All right. So this is the total course duration so far. We just started JMeter. So load runner took, like, performance testing basics, Fiddler, developer tools, and load runner took some 90 hours, right? And JMeter, it's hardly like 10 hours that we started JMeter. All right. So like, we've been maintaining a tracker like this, and like, this is all about our my YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, like, to receive more updates. All right. And like, these are the manual testing course contents. Like, we have 4 modules. We have split into 4 modules. This is manual testing course structure, by the way. We have 4 modules: one for software testing concepts, the second one module for hands-on with project, third module is for agile tools, and fourth module is for API testing, right? So API testing is having lot of demand, so we'll be focusing more on API testing. And these are the course contents in brief for different modules, right? And we will be starting from scratch for non-IT guys, like, are those who are not having any sort of those who did not uh, undergo any training previously. So nothing to worry, like, we'll be starting from SDLC, software development lifecycle, and with such informative and beautiful slides, right? So this is testing lifecycle, right? And we'll be sharing this soft copies to everyone. Once confirm your joining, we'll be sharing this soft copy to everyone. You can watch this over over mobile as well. You can install Google Slides and you can watch these over your mobile as well when you're attending for an interview. Like, this will help you to quickly go through the concepts, right? Okay. And like, every session, like, at the end of each session, we'll be having 10 minutes dedicated for Q&A, right? And yeah, finally, I would like to thank everyone for watching, and like, share, subscribe to my channel, right? And this is my channel. Go to youtube.com and search for performance testing real-time training. All right. As we are focused more on performance testing, like, my channel name, it is named as performance testing real-time training. All right. So, and these are the course contents for performance testing. So I have split into 2 modules again here. The first module is like for for freshers or beginners in performance testing, which would be for 150 hours. This is this is based on the previous batch, guys, that I got these numbers. So here I can see, like my previous batch took some 150 plus hours for both load runner and JMeter, right? So based on that, like we came to this number, right? So this would be 150 plus hours. Definitely it would be more than 150 hours, not less than 150 hours. And it would be over a span of 3 months minimum. All right. So and these are the course contents that I will be covering in, performance testing basics, load runner professional. Right now, 2021 is the latest version of load runner. And, apart from that, I cover JMeter with certification. So in load runner, like I will be covering 3 protocols: web services, API testing, and proofline, and JMeter 5.4 with certification, right? And advanced concepts, advanced JMeter, right? So apart from that, like I will be covering monitoring with open source tools and analysis, monitoring and analysis with open source tools, and developer tools fiddler, basic SQL queries, and SQL tools like Toad or dbeaver, and Git and GitHub. Yeah, this is another important feature of my training. So everyone has to share the script to GitHub. Let me quickly show you that. So I create a repository for for each application that I am covering. Here you can see this is one repository for one application that I am covering, right? So in that way, like you have multiple repositories. So everyone has to. I will add all the students as collaborators, and everyone has to upload their script to GitHub for review, right? So I'll be reviewing the scripts, and like I will be looking for, I will be verifying whether the script is working fine as expected, and whether all the scripting standards and naming conventions are followed or not. And I will be sharing the review comments to each student, right? So this is another unique feature of my training, right? So that you will get real hands-on, and you'll get script review, right? So the idea is to make you confident even if there is scripting round in the interview, right? So nowadays, like though we don't have face-to-face interviews, even in conference, like video conference, like, right? So they're asking, few companies are giving script, and asking to do before them. So you should be able to do it, confidently. Moreover, like once you join the job also, you should be able to do without any job support, without any external job support, or with less support. Like you should be able to do, you carry on your day-to-day activities, right? And these are the advanced concepts for those who are already working as performance test engineers. The course duration is 60 plus hours or 1 month approximately, and these are the concepts that will be covered in as part of this advanced concepts training, right? So JMeter integration with InfluxDB, Grafana, and ELK stack, and load runner enterprise, previously called as performance center. From 2020 onwards it is called as load runner enterprise, and load runner cloud, and Java GC concepts, Unix Linux concepts required for performance test engineers, Git, GitHub, CI/CD with Jenkins, continuous integration, continuous development, and deployment with Jenkins, right? And Docker, Kubernetes, microservices. These are the different concepts that will be covered in advanced concepts. All right. So I hope I covered like all the important queries you may be having, right? So we can discuss. If you have any queries, guys, we can discuss.